Dr. Jonas Pallikaris is also a past Innovator awardee. He's the director of the VEIC Eye Institute and member of the Faculty of Medicine at the University of Crete. His presentation this morning is entitled Evaluation of the Safety and Efficacy of a Peripheral Capsule Reconstructor. Dr. Pallikaris.
Good morning. So what I would like to show you today is an idea how we can probably solve the problem with the PCO formation. We know in cataract surgery that PCO may be an issue, and this becomes more important with the new generation of IOLs because it's very important, of course, to have very well-centered lenses, speaking for multifocal lenses, and we have to avoid any PCO formation and decentration of the lens. So here is the path of the cells and how they migrate, and they are moving backwards and following two routes. One is the fibrotic type reaction, and the other is the pearl type reaction, and both of them they have as a result the several kind of PCO formation and shrinking of the capsule. So today, the last couple of years, there have been several techniques designed in order to prevent the PCO, like surgical techniques with irrigation, polishing, YAG laser, IOL material, and designs which are special made in order to have very sharp edges in the optics, pharmacological agents, and still PCO remains probably the most frequent complication today. Of course, the treatment we know today is the YAG laser capsulotomy, which sometimes is not so easy to do in several cases. The new design of IOLs, they try to solve this problem, and this is one of these designs, for example, which is an advanced IOL, accommodative IOL, which is supposed to prevent some PCO formation, but this is not all the time succeeded. Over the last years, the concept of peripheral rings has been used for several needs. And we have several publications on the field, and you can see here a few of them, which the last one, they are more targeting also to prevent somehow PCO, but the main target of these rings, as you know, is to stabilize the capsule in case we have rhexis of the capsule. The last 10 years, some people, they tried to make a peripheral support of the capsule and expanders, and this is one of the most probably old one, which is based on the idea to put a cylinder in the peripheral capsule, and this cylinder can be used to support also an IOL. Now, this is a design I have done the last couple of years, and I was trying to find out if having this expandable, let's say, peripheral reconstruction, because the design of this tool is that the shape is absolutely the same with a normal peripheral lens, which means the goal here is to fill and very tightly the peripheral capsule. And because this is expanded, it's always the capsule is under tension. So using this material, I will try to retain the natural shape of the peripheral lens, of course, to prevent the PCO, to prevent fibrosis, and to prevent also post-fibrosis decentration or tilts. And my goal was to use this tool in order to fit to any standard or custom IOL. And of course, because it's a ring, this can be to adjust to any capsule size. So here is one of my cases which is very impressive because this patient has a traumatic iridectomy in the periphery, and this was a high myopic eye. That's why the lens you can see here in OCT is very flat. So you see here the ring, and the lens just in the front of the ring under the anterior capsule here. Here you can see all this here in this picture, and you see very nicely here how this zonule anatomy in the peripheral part of the lens is fully reconstructed. And here you can see the lens edge and the capsulotomy edge also, and here in the periphery you see the zonules, they are anatomically fully reconstructed. This is another picture using the high ultrasound frequencies, and you can see how this lens, how this ring can help the lens to be stay in the center and upward of the posterior capsule. So in all these cases I've done with several lenses, I would like to find out what's happened with his ring. After having almost 1 year follow-up for 20 eyes, 20 cases, using the ring with several kinds of types of IOLs, I have only one case in which I have a very slight here PCO, you see here, very local, and this is because the kissing parts here of the ring, they were a little bit open, so the cells seem that they find a path to come in the back, but this was just one case in very periphery. I would like to show you some IOLs I will use in this study. This is some slit lamp photos. This is a 3-piece IOL. This is 1 month, 1 year. So you see on the back, it's not any PCO formation. The anterior capsule has some shrink here, but this does not affect the clarity, of course, of the lens. And as you can see here, the lens does not touch the posterior capsule. So that means in this case, we can avoid PCO without having to press the posterior capsule, and I think this is mandatory for the next lens I will show you. This is another patient in which in one eye I have done, I put the same lens in both eyes. This is with PCR, and this is without after 1 year. And you see here still is very clear, and the other eye develops PCO without the PCR. This is another type of lens, which is the 1-piece IOL. Again, 1 month, 1 year, clear. The same thing here. The lens is upward of the posterior capsule, but is not any PCO formation because of the peripheral, of course, tension on the peripheral capsule. This is some images from the 1-piece IOL again. You see how the PCO is sitting just in the front of the ring, how the lens, is in the front of the ring, and the capsule comes around here and over the anterior part of the lens, and all the space here is free and no PCO formation also in this case. This is a WL, which is a new accommodative IOL. This lens imitates the shape and the anatomy of the normal human lens. That means it's a very large lens which has just single optic parts. And this fills all the ring here, as you can see here. And after 1 year, again, no problem with that. This is a Tassillon back in the back lens with the same. But what is more important in this last lens, which is the Barcelona Acrylic lens, I was cut the lens at 8.5 millimeter diameter here in order to fit in the ring. And you see the surgery here. This is the lens after I cut it with Baron Trifine. And this is the ring, how I put it in. It's very easy to put in a cartridge. And it's a very simple procedure. And of course, when you put this inside, the PCR takes the original round shape. It is very nice to fit in the periphery. And now I'm using this acrylic lens, has 4 legs. And I put the lens inside, and it's very easy to fit, let's say, the lens in the groove of this PCO. I have to go faster because what is the next? So here is what happened with this lens. When the lens is fitted very nice and centered on the ring, and by accommodation, the lens is moving a little bit forward. And this is the results we have here, which means that using this technology, we may have some accommodation also effect because of the movement of the lens. And you can see here the differential map. This is far and near, and we can have the fraction difference close to 1.75 diopters by 3 millimeter pupil. I think this is a feature which can be useful for these lenses in order to make them to accommodate to how to be an accommodative lens. I don't have, the time is finished here, but if you have a moment, I can show you how you can take out a lens and the ring stays in place and you can replace with another lens. And this is 1-piece lens, again in the center after 1 year. So it's a very easy procedure to remove the lens and to relocate it in any case you need it. So thank you very much.